Hey YouTube, T Heltz here. I've been sitting here in my fish room observing my silver dollars chasing each other all around the tank. This is my 55-gallon tank, which houses these 4 spotted silver dollars, my 1 remaining discus, and there's a rubber lip pleco in here as well. These silver dollars have been chasing each other all around the tank, showing some really nice color. They got some black, some oranges. Their tails are outlined in black and orange. I don't want to get too close to the tank to spook them. But they do lose their color sometimes pretty quickly. They'll go from bright red, orange, or black, and all of a sudden they'll just lose that color and be plain silver. But they're having a lot of fun in here in this 55-gallon tank, chasing each other around. My 1 discus doesn't seem to mind all the activity. My 1 remaining out of, well, I went through 10 and couldn't keep them alive. Discus are a schooling fish, as are silver dollars, but she seems to be doing fairly well by herself. The silver dollars eat all her food, so the only way that I can feed that discus is by holding a blackworm cube in my fingers, and she eats it out of my hand. The silver dollars won't go near the blackworms when I'm holding it in my fingers like that, but if I put it on the side of the glass like you're supposed to with blackworms, they'll eat all of the blackworms and my discus won't get any. So that's how I have to feed her. I hand feed her, and then the silver dollars eat whatever happens to be falling off the cube as she's eating it. And I also give the flakes, and she'll eat the flakes that the silver dollars eat. You don't want to give silver dollars too much meat. They should have a kind of a high vegetable diet. My rubber lip pleco that's in here ate all of the brown algae. The whole back of this tank was covered in brown algae, and in a couple weeks' time, 1 little rubber lip pleco ate all of that brown algae, and I've been trying to feed him zucchini on a vegetable clip. I'm not sure if he's eaten any of it. It has disappeared a couple times, but that's something that these silver dollars might go after too if they see it. So hopefully that rubber lip pleco will get enough food when I put the zucchini in. There is a lot of algae on this wood. You can see it there on these sticks of wood. I don't know why that is. I don't leave the lights on very long since it's not a planted tank. It's only got a T12 shop light bulb on it. I did add a power head. If you can see it right there, right in the middle of the screen there. I did add a power head to move some water around. Hopefully that would get rid of some of this algae. And the other main reason for adding the power head was to get some water circulation to so that the sand on the bottom isn't all covered with uneaten food or fish waste. Once I put these sticks in, the flow in the tank got messed up, and the whole bottom of the tank was covered with all kinds of debris. And putting that power head in here has solved that issue. It kind of all gathers in one spot, and I can suck it out pretty good. But hopefully it'll have an effect on some of this algae as well. You can see even on the opposite end of the tank here, the algae is flowing, and water flow is supposed to help remove algae. So hopefully it does. You see it's quite unsightly there right by the filter. You can see the algae. I don't know why this tank has it. My other tank that has this exact same wood in it with a much brighter light doesn't have any algae in it at all. It is feeding time. As you can see, the discus sees me waiting for me to put my fingers in there with the food, which I'll be doing very shortly. But I saw how these silver dollars were swimming all around the tank, and I wanted to get it on video there as they're all colored up. And we'll take a quick look at some of my other tanks here. We'll go up to my 29-gallon tank, 29-gallon planted tank. Since the last time I made a video on this tank. I did add some floating water Sprite. Took it out of my other tanks. And I put some water Sprite here on the top. Fish seem to like it. This tank all has dwarf Grammies, a kissing Grammy, and a female pearl Grammy is in here as well. A couple of catfish also. Banded quarry cats on the bottom. I don't have any algae on the wood in this tank, and this has a much brighter LED light. You think the algae might be growing on this wood, but it's not. All the plants are on the wood. Nothing planted in the substrate here in this tank. They all seem to be doing fairly well. They're not really growing much, but they're not dying back either. And below that, tough to see, I got a chair here kind of blocking it, but this is my 20-gallon long. You see the top has all these red root floaters. These were actually in the mail. They got delayed in the mail, and they were in the box like 2 weeks. And the seller sent me another shipment, figuring that these wouldn't make it since they were in the box so long. But look how many they are. There wasn't anywhere near this amount when I put them in the tank, and it didn't look so good. But they have bounced back and are doing very well. Mixed in with the duckweed. Let's see if we can get a view here. I gotta pull some plants out of this tank. There's hardly any room for the fish to swim. You see my nice Praecox rainbow. There is another one in here. Gold barbs. A whole big piece of wood which is too big for this tank. It is covered in Java moss, and somewhere in here, can't really see them right now, but there are about 10 black neons. And up here is, let's get my finger out of the way, up here is a tank that's way over planted at this point, my 20-gallon high. It has all of these Amazon sword plants that have grown off this big one here. There's probably about 7 or 8 Amazon sword plants. I hate to throw them away. I really don't have any use for them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They can't really stay in this tank because there's hardly any room for this big angelfish I have in here to swim around. But they all grew off. You see, I got a very small bristlenose pleco there on that leaf. For some reason that one hasn't grown. There is another one in this tank that is growing, but that one, which I bought at the same time, has pretty much stayed the same size. Got some kabamba in the corner here. There's Anubias, different kinds of Anubias, and this big Amazon sword plant over here. Let's see, is that the bigger bristlenose? Yeah, I believe it is. That's the bigger bristlenose pleco right there. Kind of hard to see. And an angelfish in the back. I'm thinking of maybe taking some of these Amazon sword plants, cutting them free, and planting them in pots and putting them in the bottom of my garden container pond. Make some room in this tank, and maybe they'll grow, maybe dirt, a couple of pots. Put some gravel on top of the dirt to hold the dirt in, and maybe they'll grow nice in my outdoor garden container pond. Here's my angelfish. That's why I want to free up some space for this angelfish to swim around. Fat stomach on her. I've been cutting drastically back on the food. I hope she's not bloated. Shouldn't really have a fat stomach like that. She's eating well, acting normally, but I have over the past month or so cut back on the food. And down here we have my 10-gallon. 10-gallon right now only has these 6 green tiger barbs. Probably too small of a tank for for 6 green tiger barbs, but they appear to be doing well. They could use more space, I'm sure, but they're doing well. Lots of plants, as you can see, all my tanks. Lots and lots of plants. And wherever I move the camera, the tiger barbs are moving with me, thinking they're going to get fed because it is feeding time. And as you see how nice they look. Nice colors on these green tiger barbs. This tank does have a lid on it to keep these tiger barbs in. I have a lot of duckweed. It's hard to see that I have duckweed. I have redwood floaters, which is the second shipment of redwood floaters that I got from that seller. The replacement for the first shipment. I think this first shipment actually has better growth than the second shipment. And the second shipment was in much better health when it arrived. And we'll go back to my 55 gallon. Video is getting long enough. These are the 5 tanks that I have here in this one room. I have a TV tank in another room and my outdoor garden container pond outside. This discus I've had over 3 years, and like I said, all the other ones I tried to keep in this tank didn't make it. And this is the only one that has made it. But I've given up on discus. Just too much money to be buying discus only to have them die 6 months later. Alright, YouTube, quick tour of my fish room. Thanks for watching.